Alright, health warning. Sensitivity warning. Capcom warning. See, this is telling me outright autosave. It's very friendly. It enforces me to understand that is happening. Alright. Turnabout succession. Oh boy. Warning, you're playing a Capcom game. Yep. Okay, so when we left off, we had explored everything that was in this area. I remember because we decided it was a good place to end. That's an interesting shelf. Why can't I look at that? Bark, bark, bark. There is Emma here. There is no other person. If we talk to Emma, let's talk to Emma. About the victim. So, this, Drew Mission was some kind of artist? Apparently. Did a lot of illustrations for books, I hear. Had a lot of female fans, too, for what it's worth. Oh? Well, I guess his stuff is kind of pretty. Like that oil painting over there, for instance. Yeah. That wasn't one of his illustrations, actually. Huh? So, it was a standalone painting or something? Is that what she means? Oof. He was an odd bird, Mission. Hadn't shown his face to anyone until the end. Is she a fan? Who knows? Is she a oink? For sure. No, I don't know. What do you mean to anyone? He was always locked up here in the studio, apparently. His only connection to the outside world was through letters he put in that letterbox there. Letters? Do people still write letters? What do you mean, Apollo? I mean, when was the last time you wrote a real letter? Don't most people use email and stuff these days? These days was how many years ago? Actually, hold on. When did this game come out? 2007. Wow. Heck. Alright. Don't most people use email and stuff these days? Now, Mr. Mission couldn't stand technology, it seems. He did everything by mail. Maybe he thought that way was more artistic, you know? Letterbox. Added to the court record. Drew Mission's contact with the outside world. It's empty. In any case, the only person besides him allowed in here was his daughter, Vera. Oh, you mean the killer? The suspect, please. We took some fingerprints, of course. The only ones found in the room were Mr. Mission's and Vera's, basically. Basically? Actually, last night, Mr. Mission gave an interview to a reporter for the first time. Ah, well, that's not suspicious at all. Oink. It happened during the interview, apparently. His first interview ever? Could you tell us a bit more about what happened the night of the murder? Sure, we'll hear about that, but the defendant first! So, this woman, Vera, she's Mr. Mission's daughter, right? Yep. A real sickly girl ever since she was little. Hardly ever went outside. She did kind of give off a withdrawn sort of aura. She was homeschooled by her father, apparently. It was quite a scene when they took her to the detention center. She was screaming about how she'd die if they took her outside. That does sound like a scene. In the end, she agreed to leave if she was allowed her good luck charm for company. Her good luck charm? Apparently she has this charm that magically gives her the courage to go outside. Why can't I ever get a normal client? Don't be mean, Apollo. But why would a shut-in daughter kill her own dad? Don't look at me. So, about the poison. I was found to be in his coffee, right? No, not precisely. Not precisely? What does that mean? It means see for yourself, I think. Hold on, we look at the thing we... Did I look at the envelope? Oh, yeah, I do not remember picking up this envelope. Heck. Click it properly. Apollo, look! It's been opened once here. You're right. I wonder if there's some way we can see what's inside. Should I try to get it open and then stick it back shut? Let's not tamper with the evidence, shall we? I've got a better idea. Emma, let's ask her. Okay, alright. Through mission's contact with the outside world. It's him. Okay, and I can't rotate or interact with that. Okay. The night of the crime. Like I said, last night was the first time someone from the outside came into this studio. I guess mysterious painters who never go outside make for good articles. It just so happened that he died the night of his first interview. At around 9 p.m. every night, Vera always made him a cup of coffee. Last night, he drank his usual coffee and suddenly became violently ill. And died? She poisoned him on the night of his interview? Wouldn't the reporter see? He wasn't near Mr. Mission when she brought her father his coffee. He was checking out some equipment in the back of the room. Supposedly, that's why she didn't notice he was there. It was the reporter who called the police, in fact. Wait, but why is she the suspect? If anyone is suspicious, it's the reporter. Yet the reporter never got near Mr. Mission's coffee. Even Vera acknowledges that. But you just said the poison wasn't exactly in the coffee. So, bark. Regardless, I want to know more about this quote-unquote reporter. Forensic science. I bet Emma could help us out here. Don't forget, flattery will get you everywhere with it, Apollo. What? Huh? What are you two whispering about? Oh, well, I was thinking. What is it we always do when we run into you at a crime scene? What is it we always do? Scientifically. Ha, you know me too well. Okay. Okay, meaning we can get, scientific now? I suppose. Just this once. Bring me anything you find suspicious and we'll check it out. Alright. So we've already determined this is suspicious. We need to present. Teases us about presenting. Phoenix does. Okay, yep. Emma, about this. Oh, that. Yes, oh, why, that's a bright red envelope. She sure is jumpy. Someone opened this, didn't they? My lips are sealed. Your lips are sealed? That's a first. You mean, you know what's inside the envelope? Sure. I read it after all. Ah, you mean you were the one who ripped this open? Please, I would have steamed it open. But she did sneak a peek at it, apparently. Know that I have a powerful weapon on my side. Weapon? Yes, the use of tools. Highly specialized tools for information gathering. Tools I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. You should try flattering her, Apollo. Stop saying that. They say a little praise can open big doors. I've heard that one, but it's good advice. Let's try talking to her some more. About that envelope we found. I was wondering if you could help us out with that tool you were mentioning? You want to know about my tool, do you? It's called an X-ray analyzer. X-ray? Like the X-rays you get at the dentist? Ah, that was poorly enunciated. That's right. At least, that's what I call it. Huh? It has a real name, but it's much more complicated. The X-ray spectralization. Something. How am I supposed to remember all that? So, basically it lets you see inside things, like envelopes? That's right. You're sharp, Drucy. But it's a bit more complicated than that, in practice, of course. Actually, to tell the truth, I'm not really sure how it works, scientifically. Can I try it out, Emma? Please? Oh, I suppose. Of course, I've already checked out everything suspicious myself. All right, let's give it a spin, Apollo. Yeah. What are you doing? Oh, just seeing if I could see through your hair. But it's like lead. Point that thing at me anymore and it might all fall out. Then I wouldn't need an X-ray machine to see through it. Just get down to business, shall we? Right. Let's test it on the sample first. It just so happens that I have a lottery ticket here. Scanning. You set the sample in the device like so. I don't see anything. Patience. There's no need to get all antsy. Look at the right side of the screen. That's the layer view of the envelope. Layer view? We've got it set to display the outside of the envelope now, see? Actually, it's quicker to just have you give it a try. Turn that dial there with the right stick for me, would you? I'm being cutscened. Or am I supposed to... Oh, yeah. That's right. That's how you choose what depth you want to scan. Hey! I got something! See? That's how you can read the letters on the ticket inside. Cool, huh? Except, I can't read them. Just turn the dial a little more. What you have to understand is that a sheet of paper isn't really flat at all. When you zoom in that much, you see that paper is like a bunch of hills and valleys. Wow, really? This X-ray device uses a beam with a wavelength of only 0.05 microns. It breaks cards down into thin layers, so it can only show what's written on that layer. I'm not entirely following you, but what good is it if you can't read anything? That's why we go on to step 2. Try rubbing the image a bit, if you would. Rubbing? Like going over the image with the left stick while holding A? Am I actually doing it? I'm actually doing it. Okay. Oh, while holding A. Rub, 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 rub. There. That fixes the image on the screen. Now, turn the dial again, just a little. Ah, okay. The dial is still not under my control, but the rubbing was. Good. Now you can rub this image to fix it too. Hey, I get it! We just keep doing this until we've got the whole thing. Exactly. Not bad. Neat. Let's do some more. Turn dial to focus on the layer. Okay, well, let's rub first. Bloomp. Okay. Ooh! Definitely see a lot more there. Yeah! Lottery 0049. You lose! Yeah, thanks. See, that's getting to be past the paper, right? Yeah, we're figuring it out. Figuring. Wow! Beautiful, alright. I've solved it. We're done. Yes? There are no more dots to find? Or do I have to do this part as well? Because I'll scream. There we go. Okay, let's print this one out. Okay, but that's not what we came here for. Unless that's actually what was in the envelope. Petty, yeah. It's like it wasn't even in the part we were looking at. Ouch. You lose. At least you know where you stand, eh? Anyway, now you see the true hidden power of my weapon. Neat, huh? Now, let's try it out on the real thing, shall we? Scanning. Alright, turn dial to focus on a layer. Layer! Will exist. Probably horrible things will happen. Just squinch at everything, sure. Oh yeah, it's gonna turn into a letter of some kind. Ooh. Mr. Drew Misham, I've deposited $100,000 in this designated account. Please send a receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. Okay, let's print this one out. Mr. Drew Misham, I've deposited $100,000 in the designated account. Please send a receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. Someone deposited $100,000 into Misham's account? His paintings must be really valuable. That or he sold 1,000 of them. There's another page in there. Care to take a look? You bet I do. If you're going to read someone's mail, you might as well read it all. Here goes with the second page, then. Scanning. Okay, rank. Honestly, rubbing. These mini games. Sign the papers and send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. I need not remind you to speak of this to no one. Okay, let's print this one out. Sign the papers and send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. I need not remind you to speak of this to no one. So it was a letter about payment for one of his paintings. Why all the secrecy, though? And what? Why was this letter the only one in here? It's 7 years old, right? Maybe it had some special significance to him? Well, Emma? And yet he reminded him. Well, indeed. She knows something she's not telling us. Also, we said 7 years old? Where did we observe that? Again, this is probably when I picked it up that we learned all these things, but that was ages ago and I don't remember. She knows something she's not telling us. Looks like she's keeping mum about it. Red envelope updated in the court record. Found at the victim's desk drawer. Contains 2 sheets of writing paper. Is that how you will describe it? Okay, we can just page between them. Lovely. Alright. Let's show her the cup. The proper cup of coffee. Made in a proper cup of coffee pot. Emma, about this mug. There's a pale blue, residue on the rim. Huh? Huh? That? Yes, well, it's just a rumor. But I've heard there's a kind of coffee called Blue Mountain. I'm pretty sure it isn't actually blue, Emma. Ah, right. Okay, you got me. That's left over from my testing spray. Forensic science! I knew your hobby was behind this somehow, Emma. It's not a hobby. It's literally her job. So, what kind of scientific stuff are you up to? This spray, that's what. It turns blue when it touches poison. Any poison? It might be useful in... So, the poison that killed the victim was on this mug? That's right. See? It wasn't in the coffee. The killer applied it to the rim of the mug itself. Wow! Science is amazing! That certainly is helpful. Maybe Emma would be willing to help us out a bit more. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. They say flattery will get you everywhere. Stop saying that! Certainly worth talking to her a bit more. About poison analysis. I was afraid you were going to talk about that, or ask about that, or whatever. See, this solution is used to test for atroquinine. Huh? Well, atro means black. So, black quinine? Atroquinine, the deadly poison found in the autopsy. Uh-oh. I know that spark in her eyes. She's getting excited. Best tread lightly. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but is absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. Oh, and guess what? Recent research has shown... that's fine, really. We don't need to know all the gory details. I think I get it. You just spray this stuff on something you want to test, right? Precisely. You can find even the slightest trace of poison with this. I want to try too, Emma. Pretty please? You don't have to ask twice. I already used it on everything suspicious, of course. Yay! Let's give it a whirl, Apollo. Ah! What are you doing? I was just seeing if I got a reaction off you. How's this for a reaction? Never do that again! I'm not poisonous. Tell that to those hapless witnesses on the stand. Let's just get down to checking for real poisons, shall we? Spray detection reagent. Okay. Obviously, we'll check the weird slides. We really are just going in the world. With the microscope. The weird... The pen. The book. The time machine. No, it's not a time machine. The mailbox, of course. Yes, we're spraying everything. Well, not everything. We're very loosely dusting the whole world, except the corpse areas. We're ruining the paintings. The paintings will absolutely not react well to being sprayed in the real world. We didn't even get a reaction out of the mug. Okay. Interesting. Well, she did say she already sprayed everything of interest to her. Heck. I don't even know where I'm supposed to be spraying, or am I even supposed to be spraying anything at all? It tells me I can go back from here. Am I supposed to go back? I can't even check that shelf we mentioned earlier. Too bad. No reaction there. I'm sure Emma checked out all the likely spots. Wait a second. What is it, Apollo? Did you spray that little desk over there? I don't think so. The spray probably can't reach that far, you know? Let's check it out, just to be sure. I did! Oh. Maybe I didn't check that. Okay. Whatever. Hey! A reaction, Apollo? Oh. Where? Where? The inside of that cute little frame. Look! The teeny frame. Well, would you look at that? Nice going, Trucy. I'm known to work magic. Never mind that I was the one who found it. Tiny frame out of the court record. Frame measuring 2 inches by 2 inches. Bears traces of deadly poison, atroquinine. Where would the inside of that frame have poison on it? Looks like we found the only other place that was poisoned in any case. Oh yeah, we just rule it out, because, you know, the dialogue tree says there are no more. So, Emma, I was wondering, what's the story about this reporter that came here for a story the night of the crime? I'm afraid I can't tell you, because it's going to be a witness tomorrow, I hear. I thought so. I'll never forget that face, but what was his name? Oh, right. Brushel. Freelance journalist Spark Brushel. 834 Glittering Road, Los Angeles, California. Wow. When you get his email address. Spark it, or, well, not even, it's Scoop. Scoop at Brushel.com. That's adorable. Because he's a journalist. Anyway, oh, right, Brushel. Brushel. He's after a scoop to sell to the papers. So a reporter comes for an interview with a painter. His first interview ever, and that night he's killed. Seems strange to you? Really strange. It does raise a few questions. I'd like to speak with this reporter if I could. Well, I hear he's on the beat today, too. He said something about covering a magician. Magician? Well, if it's not true, see, that leaves only one other person. That is actually not true. I do remember that when we started here, there was the act was with the Grammaries, plural. There was Valent, and then there were 2 other people. Back. It wasn't Valent Grammary by any chance, was it? Yeah, something like that. He's got some big show lined up, I hear. So he's out interviewing Valent Grammary. Looks like I'll be heading out to that Coliseum again sooner than I thought. Here, I'll give you that reporter's card if you want. Brushel's card out of the court record. His business card reads, Spark Brushel, freelance journalist. See that again. Details. Clear Spring Road. Is that a real place? Does someone have the scoop at Brushel.com address? I guess you gotta have a good business card if you work freelance. Really? What's this? A camera lens finder? Do reporters take photos too? Well, I guess if he's freelance, you'd have to. Maybe you should try being a prosecutor and a defense attorney. You'd always win. Why don't I become a rock star too while I'm at it? Top dollar for information. Oh no! If the guy's in-game sprite doesn't look exactly like this, I'll be disappointed. This had better be a photograph of the guy. No clues here. Hey. Looks like you have to take this back part off first to put a photo inside. It'd have to be a really small photo to fit in there. True, and that pale bluish stain? Why would there be poison on something like this? Well, there's one obvious reason. Whoever put poison in the coffee rubbed a bit on here too. That's not very obvious, Trucy. I mean, like, there could be a spill? Alternatively, the photo frame was how it was smuggled into the place to begin with. Which is, unfortunately, all too possible. Okay, let's go. Sunshine Coliseum. What was the last thing we picked up? Business card, okay. Yes, the streamer brain. Makes sense. Alright, have you seen a reporter around? I guess if he was coming to interview you, I could ask about it. So, a journalist was here on a story? All eyes in the universe are upon my stage. All pens seek to commit its mysteries to paper. His name is Brushel? Brushel. I think he remembers him. He doesn't look too happy about it. Brushel. That cloying smell of mint when he smiles, yes. Could you tell us more about him? What did he want? Yes, tell us. Mr. Brushel, journalist. A man by that name called on me just now. Just now? Valen's vision is always toward tomorrow. Valen's feet step always forward. That is all. That's all? Very confusing. I am to perform a big magic show, yes? I wanted someone to cover it. Yet he adheres only for that incident. That incident? In any case, I requested that the rapacious reporter remove himself. So a painter is died. What of it? It is but a footnote in the footlights, compared to the magic of grammar. Uncle Valand, do you know where the reporter went? I recommend that he visit that place popular with penalized perpetrators. The detention center? He was a rude individual. Might I see that card? Sure. He would tear apart my respectability, I would tear apart him. Ooh, here it comes, Apollo. Uncle Valen's big magic trick. Is he gonna fix the card? I'm not sure that qualifies as big magic. No, this isn't magic, this is just spite. What happened to the big magic? Is it not more miraculous for it to stay ripped? He must have really not liked that journalist. Now, the time has come when I must return to make my prestidigitation preparations. By your leave, Miss Trucy. Thanks, Uncle Valent. 3 days from now, make ready for a miracle. What do you think that journalist was after? Why did Valent react like that to this envelope? I think it's time to pay the detention center another visit. Okay. So we shall. Which apparently we can't do from here. Hi. October 7, detention center, visitor's room. Visitor's room. Words have emphases. I think I hear what you're saying. You can't do a question mark, because then I can't guess who it is. We're all doing it for the money, end quote. No, not at all. Looks like someone's already meeting here. Maybe that reporter? Oh no, it does look exactly like him. Hey there! How you doing? Who might you be? Sorry, we didn't know someone was already here. I'm Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Talk about a nervous monkey. You're Justice? You? You know me?
Do I know you? Of course I know you. Stares down witnesses on stand until they spill beans. End quote.
That's not true. What's he writing? Are you a reporter by any chance? You don't want to look.
Ooh, you're Trucy.
Huh? Am I famous?
Oh yeah. Trucy Wright hates carrying a bag. Puts everything she owns in her panties, end quote.
That's so not true.
Just hold on to your breeches there. I'll wrap up this interview in a jiffy.
Interview?
So, guard, I think I know what's going on here. Guarding rooms is my life. What else can I possibly need? End quote.
Oh, how many times do I have to tell you this? Look, I got work to do. You deal with him. Did you come here to interview the guard?
Holy, what a pickle! Accused wouldn't talk, had to interview someone to go plumb crazy, end quote.
Huh. I should have guessed.
Where are my manners? Name's Brushel, Spark Brushel. I'm not picky. Journalist just closes eyes, writes, end quote.
What's that nauseatingly strong mint smell every time he grins?
Until you've been interviewed by me, you don't know what thrilling is. Wild romp through crossroads of mayhem, madness, end quote.
I can see that. He's writing something again. Well, if he's a reporter, maybe he knows something. Right. Spark Brushel. So, Mr. Brushel, you're a journalist?
Me? Look, let me state one thing for the record here.
Yes?
I'm the interviewer. You understand, yeah? I'm the one asking the questions here. End quote.
Okay.
For instance, you think a movie director watches movies?
Well, I think he probably does.
Exactly. I knew you'd understand. Huh?
So terrible. The night of the crime. So, the night of the murder. You were at Drew's studio?
Who, me? Look, let me state one thing for the record.
Yes?
I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy, real busy, always on the road. A journalist always buys one-way tickets, never looks back, end quote.
I can understand that philosophy, but...
You want to know the thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone.
You are carrying a toothbrush and whacking your head with it. Okay. I might have noticed that eventually.
All because you have to give them to the guy at the airport.
True enough. But don't they give normal tickets away too?
Exactly, see? It's the same thing.
What is... the interview. So, you went to do a story on Drew Mission. He's got interesting stuff in his pocket, yeah. And he'd never had a story done about him before?
That's right. Look, let me state one thing for the record here.
Oh, that's one of those pens that was on the desk at the studio. So he left one there. Interesting. Very, very close to the 2x2 frame,
I might say.
and then again the toothbrush and the toothpaste, I guess. Anyway.
That's right. Look, let me state one thing for the record here.
What?
I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. What tipped me off to Drew? Why do the interview in the first place?
Well, yes.
Look, it's like... Oh, I got it. Say there's this burger joint with fabulous kitchen. You think the burger guy's going to tell me where he got it?
At the supermarket, maybe?
Exactly. See? That's what I'm talking about.
think I may have actually understood that.
Well, there's nothing I can talk about, really. Balls have ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers. End quote.
Right. I guess we'll leave that.
Ah, but since you're here, might as well tell you a tidbit of news I saw, just for the heck of it.
Sure, tell us. Just for the heck of it.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd seen a movie on a trip and wandered into this burger place with amazing ketchup, when an article in a tabloid caught my eye. Famous oil painting stolen from art dealer's gallery, end quote. I believe it was.
An oil painting.
Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach floating down a river.
Someone stole an oil painting of a giant peach.
Journalists can smell scoop better than burgers, end quote. Well,
speaking of a peach floating down the river, or plum, well, I have to be in presentation mode, I guess.
all right, let me go on the record here.
Hydrate? Okay. I guess I can do that. Thank you, dough guy.
Like, all right, let me go on the record here.
Yes?
I know what you're gonna say. Russell, take this, write brilliant column, end quote.
I don't think so. It's so unsettling.
A little bit.
Like, okay.
Look, buddy, I write brilliant columns about one thing, and that's food. Try to understand.
What could he possibly be writing? He didn't listen to a word I said. Okay, so that means he didn't have anything to say about that. Can ask him about the coffee cup, maybe? Nope, same thing.
Russell, take this, write brilliant column.
Okay, so maybe no. Well, if he didn't react to this one, why would he react to this one? I'm gonna try anyway. Okay, so no, he's not gonna react to this. If only we could talk to Vera. Okay, so we talked to him. Okay. October 7th, Drew Studio. Well, how'd it go? Find anything out? Actually, there was one thing I wanted to check with you. What's with that scary face you're making? And what's with the I know something but I'm not telling face you've got going, Emma? Like, wait, what? Well, bark. I ain't gonna ask about the painting. This painting came from behind that dresser. Ah, yes, so? It was stolen, no? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Do you think you could tell us a bit about this? I suppose. It's what you think. Drew Misham was a forger. A forger? Bum bum. Forger. So, what exactly is a forger? Come on. Well, basically it's someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. Fakes? Copies of an original. Exact copies, so precise you can't tell them apart. Well, why not photocopy them? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them as the real article. It's a crime, of course. So, Drew Mission was a criminal? I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries. To supplement his work in illustration, I guess. I see. Actually, that's why I brought this here in the first place. What do you mean? When you're trying to determine if a painting is a forgery, the rough sketch underneath can be a valuable clue. So the rough sketch is like practice for the real thing. Like doing a magic trick in front of a mirror before you go on stage. But not in the case of a forgery. Not necessarily, anyway. You know what the finished project is going to look like, after all. Oh, yeah, I guess you would. That's why I brought this. I'm going to use it to see what's under the paint of the finished pieces. I get it now. Not that I really needed to go to such lengths, seeing as how one of the paintings was only half finished anyway. Still, it'd be neat to see Mr. Misham's rough sketches. Kind of like what he was drawing when he thought no one was looking. True, that would be interesting. And maybe valuable for a case. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. Flattery will get you everywhere, they say. Back. Maybe I should ask Emma to help us out. Okay, so we just show the individual portrait. I kind of want to see the rough sketch under this painting. I was wondering if your tool there might do the trick? Oh, fine. Just this time, though. Let's check it out. Oh, we can check off. Okay. Well, this one we know is shenanigans. Scanning. Okay, turn dial to focus on a layer. That stuff.
Like,
Oof. It's very like the fingerprints. Ooh. Okay, let's print this one out. What the heck? Wow, he really blows. The finished painting isn't anything like the rough. Devices like mine didn't exist until recently. You probably thought it could draw any sort of thing you wanted to for the rough. What do you mean? Well, in the past you could only analyze the composition of a rough sketch. Composition? In other words, the traces of charcoal between paint and canvas. So you could tell if there had been a rough sketch, but not what it looked like. I think I follow you. So in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Some pros would actually paint out a rough sketch entirely, then do a completely new painting on top of that. So Mr. Missum was drawing whatever he wanted before painting over them? Possibly. Is there a problem with that? Not particularly, but something about the sketch itself is kind of odd. You're awfully silent all of a sudden, Apollo. You think you would check out one of the other paintings? Well, sure. You like this detection stuff, don't you? Alright, let's look at suspiciously puffed fish.
like,
Okay. Is this more like the actual fish? No, that's a building. Oh, good heck. No, that's the... Is that a skeleton pulling the noodle truck? From the first case? Okay, let's print this one out. This one too. What's wrong, Apollo? You look so serious all of a sudden. You think I could just look at the last of these? Fine by me. Knock yourself out. Scanning. Hank. Wait a minute. These are all our cases. Okay, let's print this one out. What the heck is all this? I hesitate to ask why you're getting so excited. You sure your device isn't leaking some kind of strange radiation? Trucy, look at these 3 sketches. Do you notice anything? Yeah? Yeah? Noodle cart and then... burning person on a... Ah! There! Now you're both white as sheets. What's going on? Oh, the burning guitar on the tower. Okay. These sketches are of the 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Bowl Club. The dead man pulling the noodle stand. And then... the events that transpired during the Governor's concert. Okay, yeah. For some reason... I didn't parse that one at first. It looked like a war scene. Some guy holding a gun and pointing it to the right. But yes, that is the guitar on fire. The whole guitarist, for that matter. What could it mean? How could he have drawn those things? And why? That's what I want to know. Wait, is Drew Mission your father? Give me a break. Does that seem even remotely possible to you? I'd never even heard of any Drew Mission before. I hadn't even seen a picture of him. But they were in my cases, drawn on his canvas. Every single one of them. All 3 of them. Couldn't have been a coincidence. Just who was this Drew Mission? And what do you have to do with me? To be continued. Yanni, heck, to be continued. And we are going to continue because we still have an hour of stream left. Yeah. All right. Continue on to the next chapter? Sure. Ooh, court. October 8, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 6. Good morning. So, you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy. Trucy Wright. That's right with a W. But not right, right? We're on your side? You can tell us anything. Please? Good morning. She speaks. Not bad, not bad. But I think you do better with a little smile, you know? Don't tell people to smile. You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself. No, don't do that. Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. You can't talk, Apollo, based on what you started when you first talked to her. Hmm. Thank you for taking my case. Oh. It's like we need more ace in this Ace Attorney game. Be like Phoenix, who mostly was the properly asexual Ace Attorney. Anyway. Okay, well, that's a start, I guess. Here she goes with the nail polish again. Is that what that's indicating? That's great, really? It's so cultured. Want to try? Ooh, really? Girls. Shenanigans. The victim Drew Mission was the forger, and a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime, really. Maybe one that led to his death. October 8, 10 a.m. District Court, Quarter Number 3. Well, we will now begin the trial of their mission. Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy and he's looking around all nervous-like.
The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever.
Oh right, we're in the jurist system trial shenanigans.
Today is a test of the jurist system, and the first step toward a new order in our courts.
Daddy's secret mission.
The jurist will function like a jury. It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will.
Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom?
3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurists judge well and judge cool. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that. My apologies, Herr Judge. Jurists, today, judge today's trial coolly, if you would be so kind.
The jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. We're about to find out just what effect they're going to have.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter Drew Mission. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Mission.
Objection! There wasn't any poison in the coffee.
Achtung, someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. The mug? Residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. Misham's autopsy report added the court record. Drew's autopsy report, death by atroquinine poisoning, estimated time of death 9 to 9:30 p.m. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atroquinine poisoning, a chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. A touch of atroquinine in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. You may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety.
A journalist, no doubt.
The witness will state his name and occupation.
Ha! Right. Well, for starters, my name's Spark Brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world.
In other words, a freelance journalist, right?
If you don't mind, I'd like to say something here for the record.
Yes, Mr. Brushel?
I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make Park Sandbox of endless desert waste, end quote.
These headlines make no sense. I don't like bark. I mean, I know it's like, but it's bark. But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday.
Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel, end quote.
Let's hear your testimony then, shall we?
A simple case, eh, Gavin? For me, the jury is still out. Witness testimony.
The journalist's story.
I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the atelier. Journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Star falls, end quote. No one else entered the room beside her the whole time.
That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him.
Whoa, what are you saying? Judge!
Need I remind you, the cameras are rolling today. I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you?
Me do a thing like that? Come on, that's like newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations, right courtroom, end quote.
Rock indeed.
Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun.
I'm so happy for him. Very well, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please.
Cross-examination.
The journalist's story.
I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview.
9 at night? Isn't that a little late for an interview?
If the great painter Drew Mission says come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9. The first, and as it turned out, last interview with such a prolific painter.
Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived?
I first outsider to enter the atelier. Journalistic history made, end quote.
You were the first reporter ever in Drew's studio?
Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history. A basically insignificant step for all mankind. But a giant step for that Brushel guy, end quote.
If no one on the outside ever had access to the studio, then it would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider.
By which he means Vera did it.
So, how did this epoch-making interview go?
His daughter brought us coffee right after we started.
Would you mind being a little bit more specific?
Hoo-wee, let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in 3rd grade. No, wait, 4th grade.
That's not what I meant.
I believe I know what Herr Forehead is driving at. This coffee the victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it?
Right, that. That's what I was gonna say, really.
Well, if you got a question to ask, you best straight up ask it. That's what I tell all the new recruits, several times if necessary. Right for a grade schooler. That's my motto. Which in the sack can only write grade school level stuff, mind you.
Who touched the coffee?
Dunno. I was in the back looking at the studio's equipment when she served it.
And what happened next?
You know what happened next? Star Falls, end quote.
What's this about a star falling? Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money. Over.
Over? You mean stap? Zowie, you don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls, get it?
But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter?
Oh boy, this is good stuff, good stuff. How about star brace? Nah, lacks punch. I know. Star dies. Lacks imagination. Of course, you can go with Jew dies. Straight, the point. I like it.
I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. Interesting. Yeah, tell me about your coffee. I want to hear all these things, but I want to hear about your coffee. So, you drank the coffee that Vera served you, too? Too? So, you drank the coffee that Vera served you too?
Of course. When someone serves you coffee, you drink it. That's what my old boss always used to say. Never did get what he meant by it, though.
But you're still alive, which is to say, you didn't die.
Of course not. No point falling before you're a star, end quote.
It's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at, then? You know the poison was on the rim, not in the coffee.
Oh, yes. There were 2 cups on the tray she brought, and one of the cups had Drew's signature paint on the side.
No chance the guest would take that one by mistake, I guess.
Well, Mr. Justice, was that testimony important?
Kind of? I don't know. But I do know I'm going to refill my drink. Give me a second here while I ponder upon this. Oh, yes. Okay, sorry about that. So, I mean, it's kind of important. Only poisoning one mug is interesting because it shows that you're targeting what you're doing. You're not just doing some kind of mayhem killing. But also, I don't know. I'm gonna say not important. So Brushel drank the coffee too. Doesn't look like this is gonna lead to much.
Very well, please continue with the testimony.
I do want to read the other options, if I get the option to. What's this about a star falling? Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money. Over.
Zowie, you don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important person passes away. The star falls, get it?
But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter?
Oh boy, it's good stuff, good stuff. Star brace. Nah, lacks punch. I know. Star dies. Nah, that's imagination. Of course, you could just go with Drew dies. Straight to the point. I like it.
I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. Tell me about it. I guess the moment of death. What, also the Stars coffee? What? Like, you say Mr. Misham had the coffee too, but did you actually see him drink the coffee?
Of course,
You did.
he who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world. Yeah.
Yet?
Yes, I can't say I saw him drink it really. He had one so-called sip, if that. Man puts lips to bug, drinks. End quote.
That poison is quite virulent, I hear.
My stomach did the so-called somersault. Since I'd gulp down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something is there. Some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess for the record?
Does this guy have a pause button?
Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable?
Not yet. The coffee Mr. Misham drank. It has to be important somehow. Nah.
Very well, please continue with the testimony.
Okay, I'm gonna hear one more on the last one. 1 second here. Do. Okay. Try it again. Zip through this part.
Oh boy!
Okay, so we'll ask about the moment of death. About when Mr. Misham passed away.
Oh boy, what a scene that was! He puts his coffee mug down at the cracks, right?
Yes, and then?
The cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fails. So cold was that touch, he could do naught but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame's a little tired. Life's river flows over. Yes, that's a go.
I think he's starting his article already. Could you describe that a little more simply?
Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. Our seizure is final performance, end quote.
Heteroquinine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow. The limbs tremble. Yeah, that's quite enough of that. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight.
Oh yeah? Well, I want details, lots of juicy details.
You were there.
For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Heteroquinine, My Love by the Gaviners, available at all major music outlets. The point here is that the victim died of heteroquinine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony? Interesting. Okay, so... trembling uncontrollably. The limbs tremble. Kind of Caesar, so that kind of... I don't know which is the most important, but I think it might be that we did see him sip the... like, we saw him sip the coffee. I'm pretty sure it's him drinking the coffee, because,
You'd think the moment of Mr. Misham's death would be important. But Mr. Brushell's story didn't tell us anything we didn't already know.
Very well. Please continue with the testimony.
Oh, yes, that is important.
Okay, the fact that Misham drank the whatever needs to be in here because
Otherwise, the fact of him drinking it isn't in his testimony. I can't react to him drinking it if it's not in the testimony. Theoretically, that's my guess. Okay. Does this matter? Okay, alright. Yeah, I should go through it every time, I know. I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. Okay, so the Star's coffee. You say Mr. Misham had the coffee too, but did you actually see him drink the coffee? Of course! He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world. Yeah. Yet? I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, if that. Man puts lips to mug, drinks, end quote.
That poison is quite virulent, I hear.
My stomach did a so-called somersault, since I'd gulp down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something's there, some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess, for the record? Does this guy have a pause button?
Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable?
Yes. The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over. Oh, yes, yes! You can go to press for that one. You bet I will. Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony.
Very well. The witness will add this to the testimony.
Vital, right? He had one sip, if that. The next moment, he was on the floor. Now, just a minute ago, you said you didn't see him. You were on the other side of the bark. But that contradiction is not in his testimony, so...
Okay, let's just go ahead and press from here.
So he either took a sip, or he didn't, and then fell over? Oh, yes, indubitably. Just like that. Wham bam. So, Mr. Misham drank the coffee, and fell over immediately. I think Brushell's telling the truth, too. Should I get him to talk about something else? The coffee fell over me today. I think he's telling the truth. But no, yes. Okay, so we need to talk about the moment of death, too, because that's where he said... That's where he said that he didn't see it. Right? We don't scroll back. Okay, so read about the moment of death. About when Mr. Misham passed away. Oh boy, what a scene that was. He puts his coffee mug down with a crash, right?
Yes, and then...
Then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fades. So cold was that touch, he could do naught but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame is a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yes, that's a go. I think he's starting his article already. Could you describe that a little more simply? Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. Artist seizure his final performance. End quote.
Atroquinine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow, the limbs tremble, the throat burns.
So was this in the... Was him saying he didn't see it in the bit about his own coffee, then?
That's quite enough of that. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight.
Oh, yeah? Well, I want details, lots of juicy details. Anyway, thank you for the hydrate, Udrich Mill.
For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Atroquinine, My Love, by the Gaviners, available at all major music outlets. The point here is that the victim died of atroquinine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony?
Like, I don't know if I want to just add it all. Because bark, bark, bark. I'm just scared of giving the wrong answer. Okay, so we took a sip, we didn't, then fell over.
Oh yes, indubitably, just like that. Wham bam.
So, Mr. Mission drank the coffee and fell over immediately. I think Bristol's telling the truth, too. Should I get him to talk about something else? So, you drank the coffee that Vera served you, too?
Of course. When someone serves you coffee, you drink it. That's what my old boss always used to say. Never did get what he meant by it, though.
But you're still alive, which is to say, you didn't die.
Of course not. No point falling before you were a star, end quote.
That's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at, then? You know the poison was on the rim, not in the coffee.
Oh, yes, yes. There were 2 cups on the tray she brought, and one of the cups had Drew's signature paint on the side.
No chance the guest would take that one by mistake, I guess? Well, Mr. Justice, was that testimony important? Can I make them all important? I'm talking about the coffee the witness drank. I'd say that is important. Very well. Please add that to your testimony, Mr. Russell. Okay, we'll add all the things, I guess.
I drank the coffee too, but I'm not dead yet.
Oh no, we only get one option of what's to be there. Okay. You're sure you drank the coffee?
Oh, yes, yes, quite. I gulped it down, felt that sweet scorch in my throat.
But you say the victim took one sip and fell over. And you still kept drinking?
Of course. Drink your coffee when it's hot, never when it's not. That's what my old boss used to always say. Never really knew what he meant by it.
Should I give him talk about something else? Okay, let's also... I mean, that is shady that he sits there drinking the coffee while someone else just died of it. That's kind of large. But let's see what happens if we make this important. Moment of death? Yeah.
Whew, boy, what a scene that was. Puts the coffee mug down with a crash, right?
Yes, and then?
Then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fails. So cold's that touch you can do now but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame's a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yeah, that's a go.
I think he's starting his article already. Could you describe that a little more simply?
Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. Artist Caesar's final performance, end quote.
Atroquinine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow, the limbs tremble, the throat burns. That's quite enough of that. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight.
Oh yeah, well I want details, lots of juicy details.
For that you can listen to our last year's hit single, Atroquinine, My Love, by the Governors, available at all major music outlets. The point here is that the victim died of atroquinine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony? Let's say that was important. Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The court requests the witness add this account to his testimony.
Those spasms, that was definitely death by poison.
You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure?
Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I say a lot of things. And I've had more than my share of experiences with so-called poisonings. A man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye, end quote.
Food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get him to talk about something else? I don't know which to respond to. Let's just go what we have for now. We'll check other things and see if anything else jumps out.
No one else entered the room besides her the whole time.
Can you say that for sure?
For sure? Sure. I'm sure.
Drew's studio in a big place, kiddo. I'd know it if someone else had come in. What if they've been hiding in there from before?
Even if someone had been hiding in the studio, they hardly could have poisoned that mug without anyone noticing.
You think Icebark Brusher would miss something as obvious as that? No way.
He sure makes it sound exciting. I guess that's his job.
There's only one moment we need to focus on, really.
The moment when Drew Misham died?
Exactly. There has to be something there. Oh.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, so what do we know about what we have for evidence? Death by poisoning, time of death 9 to 9:30. Sure. I can't ask him about the frame yet, but everything does this.
Slow-acting deadly poison. Slow-acting deadly...
Well, you said 50... Why are you calling it slow acting? Didn't I say it was like 15 minutes to bark, bark, bark? I mean, that's...
I need him to keep changing his testimony until I...
Well, hold on.
Like a sip? Is a sip what we see on that mug? The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over? Oh, yes, yes. You can go to press with that one. Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add to the testimony.
Yeah, because you said 15 minutes. Very well, the witness will add this to his testimony.
Vital, right. He had one sip, if that. Next moment, he was on the floor.
Okay, so... I've been told this is slow acting.
Objection! You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used, atroquinine.
Oh? Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. The lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile.
Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information.
An omission?
Atroquinine is as virulent as he says, but death doesn't come upon ingestion, not immediately. That's because atroquinine is slow-acting.
Slow-acting? What?
According to one forensic scientist. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but is absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. If we suppose that the moment Mr. Misham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe.
Order. What's the meaning of this? If what the defense says is correct, why, that contradicts the entire testimony we've just heard.
Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say? On the record? Slow acting! That's L-O-W-A-C. It was virulent, all right. Even then, it had already begun digging its claws into the journalist. He's working on his scoop. Objection!
It's Brushel, yeah? Herr Brushel, Let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital.
You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subliminal suggestion, end quote.
I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say Auf Wiedersehen to my simple case. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article.
Come again?
You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye.
Scoop! Scoop! Good heck. Look, wait! Just wait a second. Just 1 second.
We're waiting. We're waiting. Out with it.
I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. A revival of recollection, end quote. A story of survival, end quote.
Attorney utterly confused, end quote.
Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I'd heard of poison that takes its sweet time, see?
But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened?
You bet I am. The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say.
Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say.
I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that coffee.
Order, order, order. As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony that Mr. Misham died the instant after he drank.
Of course I'm standing by my testimony, and my dream of exclusive rights to this story.
I suppose it was too much to hope for.
What was?
Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case, not him. Him? Phoenix. Phoenix, right. Who else? Achtung, Herr Bruschel. Report for us if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is a critical trial of the jurist system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed.
Witness testimony.
What Brushel noticed.
When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note?
A suicide note?
Yes, he had this look on his face. Man's face is inscrutable as a quadratic equation, end quote.
Suicide? Poor Mr. Misham. Well, that means Vera's innocent. would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh.
Very well, you may begin your cross-examination. What Brushel noticed.
When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk.
Was there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Misham?
Well, his daughter Vera, of course.
Was anyone besides Mr. Misham and Vera present?
Not a single one, not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse.
The only person who didn't belong to that studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Brushel?
Aha! I know what you're doing. I know your game. Attorney uses classic Ramsden phenomenon ploy, end quote.
If you intend to suggest that this reporter is a suspect, I'm sure you also intend to present evidence supporting that assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move along, shall we?
He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope.
Hold it!
So he put the letter away when he saw you? Hardly reporter gets worm, end quote. That's my secret. I'm not sure I follow. That one I understood. It's the night of the interview. I arrive 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in. Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really? Mr. Bishop sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter in that yellow envelope as fast as he could. I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one.
It does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice?
I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. Added the testimony. The defense finds his testimony vital, Your Honor.
Very well, please add it to the testimony then.
Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge. It was yellow envelope. I heard it was left at the crime scene.
Hold it!
And you saw him seal this yellow envelope with the letter? Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw. Apollo, you think this might be our big break? Yeah. But I need to show some decisive evidence now. Wait, there? I mean, I only have a red envelope. I don't know if that's... Well, let's continue pressing the rest of it. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course.
Hold it!
You didn't think anything might be wrong at the time? Hey, when I go in for an interview, that's what I'm there to do. Interviewer finds looking more effective than caring. End quote. So, what about now? Thinking back on it, did you sense anything strange in Mr. Mission's behavior? Well, yeah. That's why I'm telling you all this to begin with.
Very well, continue with your testimony.
Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note?
Hold it!
A suicide note? Well, yeah, don't quote me or anything. I'm just saying it's a possibility, you know? So, you didn't actually check the letter? Of course not. It was sealed. Contents of can unknown until can is opened, end quote. You can always check the label. Do you think Mr. Mission was writing a suicide note? If he was, that would solve the case in a jiffy. It kind of makes me wonder about that letter. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Mission was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. Okay, so we want to go to yellow envelope, because the only envelope that we found was in that drawer, but it was red. So here are shenanigans. I'm going to present.
Objection!
As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope. What? That face. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes? Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But her forehead. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess. Not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already. 7 years ago?
Well, Mr. Brushel?
I can explain that. Drew, right? He wanted to get that letter in an envelope pronto. Get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So he grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away. And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump?
Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim?
I mean, they might have stuffed a yellow envelope inside the red envelope. That night, the victim put a letter he'd been writing in a red envelope? Hold on. We've read the contents of this. Designated $100,000.
sign the papers, and send in the unclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. So yes, that makes sense, actually. There is an envelope inside the envelope. Hold on. What was the history exactly? So I don't know which option is. He put the. I mean, he put it in the red envelope. He put it in a yellow envelope and then put the yellow envelope in the red envelope. Is that possible as the option, or is it impossible because it didn't go directly in the red envelope? It's entirely possible. But Apollo, we checked the contents of that envelope yesterday, didn't we? Oh, you're right. The answer was clear if I'd only given it a little thought. I did give it a thought, but I overthink it. It just so happens the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Mission. Oh? Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself. I've been scooped.
Order. Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court?
Oh, my, how could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots, end quote.
I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel.
Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
His desk drawer?
Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, unquote.
Okay, so this didn't... We said... Enclosed envelope, enclosed stamp.
Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote.
A stamp? Whatever for?
Well, to mail his letter, what else? And then, why, yes, I think I saw him put in his letterbox. No, that was him. Yes, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box.
Well, apparently this yellow letter has nothing to do with this case.
Oh, how I wish it did. Just think if that were a suicide note. What a story. Who's he mailing a suicide note to? Starlight suicide note in front of reporter falls. End quote.
As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said...
Yes, Your Honor?
It makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope.
Yeah, enclosed envelope. Enclosed stamp.
$100,000 is quite a good deal of money. So this was from 7 years ago, yeah?
So, am I finished? Am I finished here? I was thinking of, go home to start writing.
I hate to say what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch us into the story, you make that, rather unique face.
Ah, come on. Attorney has active imagination, little else. End quote.
Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about.
Judge has active imagination, end quote.
Please, continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story.
Hey, I'm the one asking the questions here, usually.
Witness testimony. Oh no, the scent of a story. Okay, before we start this testimony, it's actually getting to be the end of our time, so we're not going to plunge into anything further. Actually, I have to listen to it first. We will, I guess, save when we get to the other side of it. Oh, here we go. Okay. Just remind me that we'll have to read it again when we get to it. Heck.